Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. What a game did we have in our hands? It was a nail biter. Whew, just getting over it. To talk about the match, it was Gujarat Titans who won the toss, put LSD into bat, and Gujarat Titans managed to pick up 4 wickets in the power play. They just took their top order off, all thanks to brilliant seam bowling by Shami. And from there on, it was a fighting effort by Deepak Huda and Ayush Badoni, the youngster, to take LSD to 158. And in reply, Gujarat Titans tried their best to choke at situations, but then Rahul Tewaria, the name again, and alongside Abhinav Manohar in the end, finished it off quite comfortably for Gujarat Titans. I have Nikhil joining me. Nikhil, what are your initial thoughts about this game?
Firstly, welcome to the IPL to the two teams. I'm sure a lot of players they've been part of many close games, and for some reason Rahul keeps getting at the wrong ends in the last few years. So he'll
Hmm.
want to change that soon. I think tosses again played a key role. We've known that time and again that having lost the toss, the first few overs are incredibly hard for the side batting first, and we saw that again today. KL Rahul got a very good one from Shami. Quinton got a very good one. Lewis, I'd say probably would have done better, and Pandey also got a decent ball. So
Hmm.
once you lose 2 to 3 wickets in the power play, we've seen that in the history of T20 cricket that it's very hard to come back. So lots of credit to Deepak Huda and Ayush Badani to get them at least somewhat of a score that they could fight on. And I think that is going to be one of the key cases, as we discussed previously as well, that teams batting first will have to find a way to probably go a bit slow at up top
Right.
and probably find a way to accelerate through the innings rather than trying to do everything in the first few overs, because we've seen new ball movement. Now tomorrow the match is in Pune. There also we'll see a lot of good ball, new ball movement. So with that said, I think Gujarat did do their best to try and get back the game to LSG. I think the call of opening with Wade was fine, but
Yeah.
I thought Gill probably should have been the one who anchors the game, but I think Wade
Right.
did that job today because Gill got out early, and it was only I think in that Deepak Huda over when they got 26 out of it that they got the game back, and I think that too could have definitely been avoided because Chamira ended up bowling an over less. So
Right.
once again, it's just one over too many for a side led by KL Rahul.
Absolutely, Nikhil. Now talking about that youngster, we have to talk about him. Ayush Badoni walking into bat at 29 for four, just absorbing all the pressure, batting, giving the support initially to Deepak Huda, then accelerating. And that pull shot which he played of Lockie Ferguson, which came at 146 Ks. That was a shot of the day, wasn't it? And what did you make of this lad?
I think it was good that he also got some runs in the practice game.
Yeah,
Sometimes it doesn't matter how many you get, but you just get some runs and you're in a good space. I think the short selection of both Deepak and Ayush when they were trying to resurrect the innings was very good to see. Both of them ensured that they don't lose their wicket to Rashid. And once they had a kind of a score, Deepak Huda even went after Rashid Khan, which is one way to tell that it's okay that we've lost the wickets, but we are still going to be taking the attack to you in the coming time.
absolutely. I know that's a good sign of a youngster, of course, playing under pressure. That's where you get tested, and such an opportunity like IPL would definitely mean a lot. Before this innings, he had just scored 8 runs for Delhi, and it just shows the nerves of steel he's got. Now we have to talk about that bowling performance from LSG as well. Krunal Pandya, Deepak Huda. Do you think Wankhede is offering a tad bit extra turn for the spinners this year, especially because we saw Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narayan also do well here, and now you saw Deepak Huda. You can just buy in that over. They were pretty much strangling Gujarat Titans there in the middle.
Yeah. I think it was more to do with the people who were batting there. I think Krunal though did bowl very good line and lengths to not allow them to just break free and break away. Otherwise, I think any good spinner will always find some kind of help. But it's the dew that actually makes it more harder at times for the spinner cells. I think with the kind of soil that they use, leg spinners usually do get some kind of purchase out of the Wankhede deck. So in that sense, I think it was good to see them come good. I think Bishnoy also had that last bad over that actually just spoiled the game for his side. But otherwise, I still think more and more spin will come into play. But yes, dew will remain a concern.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the highlights what we saw today has been the good batting from someone like Hardik Pandya who came into bat and he just looked in good touch. But we could say that he lost his shape a little bit in between. But now, just talking about the way in which Gujarat Titans are set up, it'll look like Hardik Pandya will have to do a little bit more batting, is it? Because their top order is still a little iffy. But Vijay Shankar has not yet proven himself in IPL. Shubman Gill too. So, do you reckon you will see Hardik Pandya batting at number four more often than not?
Yeah, I think that will be the spot for Hardik, and it was great to actually see him bowl 4 overs first, because that is something that we haven't seen him do for a while. So him bowling 4 overs were very critical for his side, and as a captain, I'm happy to see him bat at four, because I think that's where he should be used in a T20 lineup. And the bit about Vijay Shankar and Gill, I think it's going to be a bit tricky. Gill has to be the glue that actually bats from one end, which allows the likes of others to then play their shots far more freely. Shankar
Hmm.
could take his time at times, but this is a good chance for them to make a mark. Uh,
Right.
Jason Roy will be a massive miss, but there is nothing that they can do about it now. So hopefully they get enough games in the same role and they'll find a way to come good.
Absolutely, absolutely. One thing what we are always seen in this IPL is the chasing teams winning again. Is that becoming a big trend as Nikhil rejoins due to connection errors? We'll be definitely talking about it. One thing what we saw even today has been the team chasing again, and if this continues, I'm pretty sure that it's going to definitely take a toll on captains deciding. Just win the toss, win the match so far in the IPL. We should definitely hope that such a trend changes in IPL because considering what has IPL been offering in this season and also in previous season, Wankhede has got that knack of these chasing teams always just running away with the game. Now we have Nikhil back again. Hi Nikhil, I just hope your connection is fine now.
Hopefully. Sorry.
Yeah, I think there's a slight technical glitch. It's just online days and something which we can always offer, always counter with.
Yeah.
Nikki, I was just talking about this thing about toss. As we have always been discussing over the last 3 days as well. Is this becoming a very bad trend in the IPL? Because if tosses are going to decide the games, you probably can predict the result at the start of the game as well. Because captains win the toss, ball first, chase it down, and in a ground like Wankhede or DY Patil or in Pune, it's very good for chasing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that will probably be a concern for everyone associated with the tournament. But I feel once the pitches tire down, maybe the games will be far more even for both the sides. Uh, I don't think there is an option of starting the games late, because then it eventually goes into midnight, and then that's not ideal for anyone.
Right.
For In terms of the working population that's there
Right.
and the audience that is watching. So apart from that, I think hopefully we find some mid solution to reduce the dew. In terms of, there are grounds where you have sprays being sprayed around, but I'm not sure how much that will reduce the dew. But we saw that last year as well, where at the start of the tournament everybody wants to chase because it's easier to chase. But once the pitches start to tire down, the the pitch will actually get worse for batting and better for bowling. Even with the dew, spinners may get, like even now as we just discussed, that spinners are getting purchased despite the dew. I mean, Deepak
Right.
Hooda and Vishnu bowled almost in the death overs. So it just
Hmm.
tells you that it is possible. And once the deck gets more slower, they'll come into the game far more. So then teams will want to bat first, have a score, and then try and delay the splurge for the other side.
Right, right, absolutely. Because that's one thing which we are also countering, and now most of the games are decided on the toss. That's not an ideal thing for a tournament like IPL. Now, talking about the batting of LSG, now they will definitely have the likes of Stoinis and also Holder coming back at some stage. Where do you see them fit into this? Because today you saw Evan Lewis batting out of position at number three, and also you saw there was a little bit of tendency of I would say a slight tentativeness from the players for sure. But you got some peaches from Shami, which no batsman in the world could have possibly countered it. Those kind of ball, what we got for KL Rahul first up, it is a proper ball on a day one of a test match. So you can't do anything about it. But still, just talking about the tentativeness of LSG and just moving ahead in the tournament, how much bigger factor will Stoinis and Holders inclusion actually benefit them?
I think firstly it should give them a lot of confidence that they could get to a score like they did today, thanks to Deepak
Right,
and Ayush. So that bodes really well for them. I
right,
think I don't see both Quinton and Lewis playing. Lewis probably drops out, and then you probably have Stoinis coming into the lineup and then giving them that balance. So in
right,
that regards, that will be very interesting to see where Deepak Hooda bats. So
right,
there will be some rejig that will be done once they have both their overseas all-rounders back, because I don't see
right,
both of them playing, because they will definitely need the option that Lockie gives them. So
right,
you have to have that one Quinton de Kock opener and the one bowler. So they'll have to be very cautious with who else they pick in their side. But I think the tentativeness will go away, as we said discussed yesterday. That first few
yeah,
games we haven't played much with each other. There was even a horrible review that we saw,
right,
because
right. Absolutely, we
nobody
did.
was discussing with each other. I mean, it almost as if looked like nobody's talking to each other. So hopefully, once they play a couple of games, they'll be far more confident. And today, I think I would be delighted if I was LSG, because from 29 for 4, you would always take 150 as a score, and if that's the domestic talent that's getting you there, nothing like it. So far in all the games, actually, we've seen a young domestic talent come through. So and we saw that with Abhishek Manohar as well
Yeah,
in whatever
yeah,
little we
yeah,
saw of him. So I think that way it's very good for the IPL as well. That
yeah.
we've seen more and more Indians shaping the game. I mean, Umesh did that, Lalit Yadav did it, Shami did it in the first innings itself. So that way, safeguarding the Indian interest in the IPL.
True. Now let's get to the fantasy segment of things. Let's look at the top five fantasy point earners. Nikhil, this is your segment, and I'm definitely not going to ask you who all did you have, but still, how many of it could you predict before the game? Because this looks like the top fantasy getters from Boomer 11, of course.
Thankfully, I had three of them, which is
Oh,
why I got some of the money back, because my captain got out on a duck. My vice
oh,
captain
I'm
got out.
assuming your captain was Shubman or was it Rahul?
Doesn't matter, both of them got out on a duck. So that's my captain was Gale, and my vice captain was Gale. But thankfully, my combination had Deepak Hooda. My combination
Right,
had Pranal Pandya. So, and obviously Shami was there. So,
right,
which is why I say in fantasy, it's at times very easy to lose money. But sometimes we have days where our captain, vice captain doesn't work. But if we
yeah,
have the overall combination right, we will still
right.
get the money back.
I feel you, Nikhil, because even my captain got out on a duck, so you can just assume it's either.
Good to get them right at the start. I think good to get them right at the start of the tournament.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now talking about captain getting out on a duck, a word on Shubman Gill because we know the potential this boy has, and last year also he was in a different setup, but then they wanted him to play slightly different. But whenever you have seen Shubman Gill do well, it's when he's of his own, when he plays his own game, which is more knocking the ball around, finding the gaps, and just not focusing on the strike rate. Do you think strike rate is has actually added pressure on his batting, and that's why you see a decline in him, especially in the limited forward.
uh, I think he probably hasn't had a good amount of time getting a good amount of scores in a consistent period of time. So we've seen him do well, and then he's suddenly just gone off the board. But there hasn't
Right,
been the time where he's had a couple of good scores where he's looked very confident, very compact, and in that sense. So uh, I thought this is his season to come good, because he has that added responsibility
right,
opening, and
right,
you won't get a better. I mean, these are the best time to bat in the IPL. I mean, the decks that are going to get. So I was really surprised to see him come down and trying to hit out in the very first over, because Chamina is an international quality bowler. He's not somebody who's just going to run in and give you throwdown. So uh, I think the score was also ideal for somebody like a Gill to get a good 50, 60 red inker is what as they call it. So
Yeah.
I'm very keen to see how he bats, because
Right.
he has enough people around him who can hit those boundary shots. What I'm looking from Gill is stability at the top. The role probably that Faf is going to do for RCB. That
Right.
you
Right.
want them to get in, you play your game, the strike rate will take care of itself. As long as you're playing the situation well, I think your strike rate is not that important. It's how what you're
Right.
doing in that very moment and what's the need. So
Right.
hopefully Gill comes good, because it's always great to see him play those lovely shots.
I'll quote KL Rahul. Maybe strike rate is a little overrated. So, having said that,
As long as you're
you know,
getting orange cap and getting with the Indian team, everything is very overrated.
yes, definitely. And he's such a good player to watch, regardless of how he plays. And that's the talent this boy has. Before we end the show, let's talk about the course which Nikhil is offering on Madabout Sports. Nikhil, I hand over to you. And what do you offer with Madabout Sports? And how can it help a fantasy player?
So the very good example was this very game where my captain and vice captain both got out on a duck. Yet I will end up with almost 2x to 3x of my investment,
Wow.
because my overall combination was good, and I invested in the right kind of contest. So this is exactly what I've talked about in the course. That is how to be in profit in fantasy cricket, where I've
Right.
shared my insights and secrets that have helped me over the last 8 years to win in multiple lakhs and with 20 grand leagues. That sometimes it's not just the game, you just have to play the contest, you have to play the platform as well, where you are
Right.
playing, what combination are you playing, which game are you playing, how much are you investing, are you thinking about your investment. So like
Right.
today, if there will be many who will crack their heads and saying that, yeah, my captain, vice captain did not work, I should stop playing, or what am I doing wrong. But then you have to realize this is not going to happen every day. KL Rahul, this was KL Rahul's second duck in the IPL. It doesn't happen every day. So if it's happening, he got a good ball. There's nothing that you can do. So there are a lot of such reasons that often hamper our progress in fantasy cricket, where we don't
Right.
identify the reasons for our losses. So that is also one of the key aspects that I've tried to address in that course. So, and it's already helped people. We've already got good reviews. People have won a good amount as well, which they
Right.
haven't won before. So I think that in what way speaks volumes about. See, it's a process. It's discipline. There is no easy money. As I say in that course, you have to learn to earn. So
Right.
that's all the course is all about.
Absolutely. Having said that, guys, check out the course on the description. It is there, a boot camp conducted by Nikhil, and you can definitely invest. And if you want guys want to play free cricket without any investment and get prizes worth up to $5,000, you know where to go. It is Boomer 11, and you can get to try your fantasy teams, make your 11s, and challenge your friends, and also play, be part of contests, and win some exciting prizes. So download our app, join a contest, and enjoy IPL with us. Thank you, Nikhil, for joining us and analyzing the game. I hope you enjoyed it. And sure, we'll be joining tomorrow as well with more of these insights. So it's a shame that we didn't have Jones today, that he had to miss out due to power failure. But other than that, have a good night and stay safe, all of you.
Yes, please take care, guys. See you soon.